away from the regional government. You've got the fire department, you've got water and sewer.
Well, Pinecrest right now is considering having their own fire department.
That's fine, you can have your fire department as well, and maybe that would work out for you, I don't know. But there's a handful of municipalities that do have their own fire department. That's something you could do.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But the regional government, you're not going to escape that.
Yeah, and the other thing is if people, like if this area of 125,000 incorporates, I believe there's a state statute that says that nobody at the county level will lose their job due to an incorporation or a city. Do you know anything about that?
No, I don't. But again, I'm in the building department.
Yeah.
As the unincorporated area shrinks, obviously our staffing is going to react to that.
So you have less staff now than you did now that there's 34 cities?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, next. Yeah, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I'm Willie Wright, and my address is 18651 Southwest 128th Avenue. If the incorporation takes place, would the incorporation be able to have their own code enforcement or hearing, administrative hearing officers who would set cases and have that, or would they still be under the county?
No, you'd set up your own. You would have your own code enforcement if that's what you elect to do. I'm sure you're going to do that.
One quick question. As you were talking about the appeals,
Yeah.
is the decision of the appeal board binding? Is that a final decision?
Now, the decision of the Board of Rules and Appeals is just the first step in the checks and balances. We're either party to be unsatisfied with that. If it were a matter covered by the building code, it would be appealable to the Florida Building Commission. If it was not a matter directly related to the building code, it would be to the 11th Circuit for a judicial review.
Thank you.
Okay.
Next department.
We have someone from zoning, Mr. Carl.
What's the size of your staff right now? Miami-Dade County?
325. But we encompass a lot of areas right now. We have staffing, zoning, Derm. We have neighborhood enforcement, which used to be Team Metro. That was merged in. My department was merged in, which used to be the Building Code Compliance Office. We're now part of the building department as a separate functionary there. But in total, there are 325 approximately.
Out of the local South Bay municipalities from Florida City to Pinecrest, how many of those, or who is still with the county? Have all these areas created their own building and zoning?
They have.
They all have.
All of the incorporated areas are either utilizing their own building departments, or they have contracted with private engineering firms that provide this service.
Okay. And my understanding of what you said was that staffing was basically the Florida statute that says that you must have certain staff with expertise on board.
It's the local Miami-Dade County Code that does require that. But yes, yes. And these do not have to be full-time. Obviously, if you didn't have the necessary permits or whatever, you can maintain part-time, but you still have to have those positions.
Okay.
Good evening. My name is Carl Harris. I'm with the Development Services Division of Regulatory and Economic Resources. And it was formerly Planning and Zoning. In fact, I represent the zoning section of that entity right now, and John is here from what was the planning department, the planning and zoning part of that department. Now, the Development Services Division carries out basically all of the zoning functions as it relates to pre-permitting requirements for Miami-Dade County. And For this, we practically take care of the zoning, community design and neighborhood planning implementation, platting and bonding, and transportation concurrency determination. Now, in this section of the department, what we do is actually we review and process all zoning hearing applications. That is, anybody seeking rezoning or relief from the zoning code regulations. Applications of this type, and there are some people here who are quite familiar in that they're on this board, and I see some of the people who actually turn up at our zoning meetings to comment on these applications. And these applications are reviewed by the zoning staff in our section of the RER department. And we review the plans and we review the application as it relates to the zoning code and as it relates to the county's master plan. In addition, this section of the department formulates and presents ordinances for consideration of the Board of County Commissioners and the Community Zone Appeals Boards. We look at policies and procedures for proposed regulations to effectively administer the zoning program and policy of Miami-Dade County. Now, in relation to what you have heard before, most of these functions are the functions that if this area were to incorporate, these functions would be taken over by the municipality. Almost all of these functions, the preparation, the review of zoning applications, the recommendations, the preparation of ordinances, everything in this area would be taken over by the municipality that was created, or that is created. However, there is one particular area that I mentioned that the county would still have an input in this, and that is the platting. The platting and subdivision platting is a subdivision of land in preparation for development, and it includes the reservation of right-of-way for roadways and infrastructure improvements necessary to serve the development and to serve the county as a whole. So as a result of this, it's now known as the Public Works and Waste Management Department. They would normally have handled this, but this function is still handled now by the Platting and Traffic Review section, which is incorporated in the Development Services Division. At this moment, this section of the department, of the RER department, actually handles the administration of the following boards: 10 Community Zone Appeals Board within the county, the Planning Advisory Board, the Shoreline Development Review Committee, the Development Impact Committee, and the Government Facilities Site Review Committee, and the Plaque Committee. So these are some of the committees that this department actually administers at this time. It's not likely that most of these committees will be relevant to a municipality, but you will have to take over some of the responsibilities of these committees. I'm available for questions.
I just want to understand, in this proposed area, there's not much land left to develop. It's already plotted out. But these are old communities, right? They're already plotted out. So I'm trying to find out how much do we have to leave this planning thing that's still with Miami-Dade?
The planning involves the whole thing of, for the most part, the subdivision of land. And at times, land is re-subdivided. There are times, when I was just telling someone here when I came in, when I first came to Dade County in '86, all of this wasn't here. It was made up of completely different things. I drove up here today and I was shocked at what I saw. So from time to time, different areas of a county are redeveloped and re-subdivided. So there's a likelihood that you may still need to have a replat of that area. Okay, so it's fine, as far as you're concerned, it's developed. What we have here is fine now, but we can't tell what may happen 15 or 20 years in the future. So if you go and create a municipality, in your municipality, your needs might be different, and also you might have different people coming to that municipality who would like to redevelop or change what is there in that municipality. So there is a likelihood that, yes, you would still need this element from the county.
So now, how do we, if we need that, we have to participate in the funding of this office?
I'm not going to state, I was not prepared to tell you here today that whether you would have to fund or not fund any of these entities. But the fact that the county is going to be providing these services, and it's possible they will be providing these services alongside a sister department that you would have within your municipality, there's a likelihood that the county would have to be compensated for staff time. But I'm not going to tell you categorically that this is something that is needed, but I think if you fill in the dots, you'll see, yes, there's a likelihood.
So of the departments you're talking about, how many are going to have to stay with the county? How many the municipalities can't have control over the PAB, right? Or
No, well, the Planning Advisory Board is not like you're going, because it's a county-wide entity.
right,
It's a county-wide entity.
right. And so the community councils, of course, would be defunct if you become a city, because you'd elect your own representatives and stuff like that. I don't know whether you can answer this question. I don't know if I've even got the right people here to answer it. Is there any CBIs within this area, or are there any, or I want to know how much of the, how much commercial tax base do we have in this area? Because that's what we really need to support this area. And if we don't have a lot of area to develop, we're screwed, because that means our homeowners' taxes are going to have to support this city. And most times you need a higher tax base. So do you know that answer? I'm putting you on the spot. I'm sorry.
I have not got that answer for you.
Okay.
And I'm not too sure if anybody else, maybe the other presenters here may
Yeah?
have something.
Do you know?
But I know I don't have it.
Okay,
Okay, we gotta move on.
okay.
Derm. Wait, I'm sorry, I have a question again. Real quick, sorry, Philip Murray again. First question, who sets the schedule for the community council?
The schedule currently with the community council, the schedules are set on an annual basis. It's actually set in our department through the agenda coordinators section. So they set the schedule for the year.
Okay.
And at times we have had situations, yes, where the schedule may have been changed because of an emergency situation that came up, but it's actually set in this department for the year.
Thank you very much. Real quick, when you said that this lady made the statement that the community council would be dissolved, I wonder about that, because this particular city area is a certain area, but that doesn't represent all of District 9, and the community council covers
But
all
it
of
wouldn't
District
cover
9.
you, it wouldn't cover you anymore.
Well,
Yeah.
just I
Yeah.
think he has made a valid point right there, and you know, I guess we all have to be careful how we make statements as it
Right.
affects the entire area. There are two community councils in this side of the county that I'm quite familiar with. It's Board 14 and Board 15. I think the major part of Board 14 would be in this area. But there are areas within Board 14 that may not be in the area if it is incorporated. So there's a likelihood that the community council would possibly continue for those areas of the county that are not within the municipal boundaries or the proposed municipal boundaries. Okay? Does that answer the question, Mr. Murray?